All right, cool. Let's hit the last little topic and then we can call it, man. I'm actually really interested to get your perspective on this one. And the question is, what are some things that are going on in the Web3 space that really excites you? And what are things that maybe you haven't really seen being worked on as much, but you know there's a great potential for it in the long 5 to 10 year run?
Cool. All right. So, great question. I'd say one of the areas that is super interesting to me right now is digital fashion. So,
Mhm.
kind of digital wearables. I can see that space, and I can see the trends already. Um,
Mm,
growing and popping off. I don't know if you guys have heard of a platform called Restless,
no.
RSTLSS. So essentially, started by a dope designer founder called Charlie Cohen. Essentially, it allows you to create your own custom apparel. So,
Mm,
so Charlie actually did a bunch of designs and work with Pokemon, Assassin's Creed, some really good like OG games. But Restless allows you to essentially customize your own apparel and
mm,
then syndicate that into something like a sandbox or a Roblox or whatever games that they end up kind of integrating with.
mm.
Uh, but also in the long run, get the physical version of that as well, right? So
Yeah.
if you look at the fashion industry, one of the biggest kind of the negative impacts of the fashion industry is wastage. So, you
Mm,
know, all of the clothes that end up in landfill.
yeah.
So the whole concept of digital fashion, not only can you kind of wear it in the world outside of your normal world, but if you really like the outfit, let's call it, you can get the real version that's kind of made to order or made,
Yeah.
without wastage. So digital fashion, I think, is probably the biggest trend that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wouldn't say the biggest trend, but like the most exciting trend that I'm
Yeah.
seeing. It
Mm,
makes so much sense because you know we're kind of slowly moving our lives into this kind of
yeah.
Web3 world where we're both living digitally and physically, and
Yeah.
your brand matters as much digitally as it does in real life, right? So, like, why am I buying Nike sneakers? Why am I buying this particular jumper? Why am I driving this car? Why do I have this watch?
Mm,
That level of importance is going to now exist in the digital world as well, right? So, your kind of your let's call it your brand matters just as much physically as well as it does digitally. So,
yeah.
I think digital fashion is super interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then kind of what else am I seeing? Web 2 brands trying to figure out how to get into Web 3. So we're doing a lot of stuff with, kind of explaining to Web 2 brands because they know, let's use Adidas as an example, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, if you're a brand, probably the easiest thing you'd think about is, let's do an NFT collection, right? But right, so but like, what they don't realize is, like, cool, you're going to get a new Web 3 audience, but how are you going to take your hundreds of thousands or millions of audience that's in Web 2 world and take them on the journey? Like, what's the value you're offering, etc. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of going to be a really interesting trend. So trying to figure out how to transition, traditional brands into Web 3 world. And we're doing a lot of stuff right now with brands, kind of figuring out how to move them into Web 3. And I guess on
Mm,
the selfish side, the more brands we can move into Web 3, the better it is for our community, right? So, like, we're dealing with such low percentages right now, even in people who hold crypto, people who have NFTs. people that are in the space, the more people we can kind of move into the space, the better it is for the entire community. So I think, a couple other things I'll see. I think loyalty and kind of, like rewards, loyalty programs moving into the space. That'll happen. Ticketing is going to be really, really interesting. So, an NFT is your ticket stub that you collect when you were a kid, when you went to see your favorite band. I think that's going to be really interesting. And then legal is going to be really interesting as well. So, doing kind of a legal contract via contract. So I think there's some, like, especially now, when it's a bear market and we're not forced to build, but we have to think on so many deeper levels about the products that we're putting out there. I think we're going to see some really cool shit come out.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This video was sponsored by ILLUVIUM themselves. Definitely don't forget to catch the streams at about 8 p.m. on a Friday night EST, and we will see you there. Don't forget to watch this clip right over here to catch out some more Augment clips.